All right, guys, welcome to the Rants of Izzo show. This is a pre-show. We're just warming up. If you're watching on other social media platforms, you can watch their full shows at rantsofizzo.com or spreely.com. That's where we watch. If you get in the app, I have to see if we change the app name over. I know they're in the process of that. It's Freedom Hub was the former app, but let's take a look on something. I want to see if it's listed as Spreely on the App Store. Let me take a look. I don't know just yet. I'll find it out later on today because I have a meeting after the show. This is the Rants of Izzo show. Welcome. Sit back and enjoy in the next couple of minutes here as we get ready to go live. We're going live in 2 minutes here. rantsofizzo.com. My lovely co-host Lola's joining today. Wouldn't be a Thursday if Lola wasn't sitting in. Oh my God, you just filled your glass up again too. Are you going to be all like ornery and just out of control? Oh, fuck yeah. Are you going to be all like the sassy Lola at the end of the second half?
I will see. See how quickly it got to my head. I'm thirsty. So.
Oh my God. Did you eat today?
Yeah, I've eaten a bit.
Okay, let's go.
Mashed.
All right, kids, 1 minute live Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely Media. If you want to join, like the chat room, there's a chat. It's rantsofizzo.com. There is a chat room. We take a look at, that's pretty much the only place we look at your chat, so sorry. And if you want to get paid to watch the show, there's ways to do that. Go to spreely.com and you can sign up to become an affiliate. What that means is when you share the show links or any of the other links that we have, I believe news articles and whatnot, you can get paid for that. Get my cheaters out. All right, less than 1 minute. All right, Bev is over in the chat. Good to see you. All right, kids, 20 seconds, Rants of Izzo show. Make sure you're joining us, rantsofizzo.com, spreely.com. There's an uncensored social media platform there. I would highly suggest you go check it out. See you guys in a second.
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo show with your hosts, Dominick Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
Good afternoon, kids. Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely Media. All things Spreely. That means speak freely. That's what it is, right? Speak freely. There you go. If you want to speak freely, there's a great way to do it. You go to Spreely.com, SPREELY.com. There is a fully uncensored social media platform there. You can say whatever you want, including Lola's fucking hot. Hi, dude. How are you?
Hi, how
fucking
are you?
diva queen. Thursdays, Lola's going to be joining me on Thursdays now by your demand because so many of you are like, would you just please bring back Lola? So we said, yeah. And we have to appreciate her because she is 6 hours ahead in the UK. So we really appreciate. So she should be actually getting drunk and enjoying her day, but instead she's going to be sitting with us. All right. We have a lot to talk about today. You brought up some great topics, and I want to dive right into them. But before we do, I want to play, we have a rant line. It's 708-982-0974. The country code is 1. 1-708-982-0974. And if you have something you want to say, if you agree or disagree with something we talk about, or you can text, you can leave a voice note because it's an iPhone, or you can leave a voicemail. But we got a listener voicemail the other day, and I had to wait to play this for you. So let's listen to this one together.
Hi, Dominic. I'm a long-time fan, listener, and I am loving the new flavors you're bringing to the Rent of Izzo show. My very favorite right now is Lola. I have some questions for her, though, because she is just full of knowledge. I would love to sit and have a conversation with her. But I want to know, of everything, all around the world that she's gone down, what is her favorite conspiracy theory? I want to know. I love her. I would love if you had her on more often, because with her, it's always wow. She blows my mind with the information that she knows. So thank you.
I struggled to understand all of that.
Well, I didn't struggle to understand it. What it was somebody who left an unknown number, so I can't text them back and thank them and tell them that they have a porn star, like the old sex line operator voices. But I have to wonder if that woman was masturbating watching your segments, because
she sounded like a Muppet.
Oh my! No, she sounded like she was turned on. The question. Well, so. You got somebody who said that they love you coming on the show here, and they wanted. Then they said she could sit and listen to you and talk to you for hours. But the question is, out of everything you've been deep diving down, what's your favorite conspiracy that you check out? Have you given that any thought?
It's a tough one. I think there's too many, to be honest. Too many to go through in an hour. Anyway, I think probably my favorite conspiracy is the fact that everything is a conspiracy. And that's, there's a lot of people who are awake or semi-awake, but they'll be awake to certain things, but not everything, And it's only until you really go down all the rabbit holes that you realize that nearly everything is connected, and nearly everything is a conspiracy. I've been told so many times, like, oh, well, you think everything is a conspiracy. You would say that, but they don't understand that, like, literally from the minute we're born, the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we use, the money we spend, the banking system, literally everything, there's a conspiracy behind it now. The clothes we wear, like the language we speak, the English language, everything, it runs so deep. But probably I find the most interesting is all of the, like, medical industry lies, because there's a hell of a lot, like the pharmaceutical industry and like Rockefeller medicine and the Flexner report and everything, like just allopathic medicine in general, the way that it is now, that's probably a big one.
And we're going to talk about that today because you want to talk about pharmaceutical industry, and I pulled up some stats really quickly. To the 5 largest pharmaceutical companies in the by market cap, Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, AbbVie, and Pfizer reportedly combined had an earnings of $81.9 billion in 2022, which was an $8 billion increase from 2021. This is according from a new analysis. We know that. We know what it was from. And it's ironic because I was going through social media before coming on today, and there was some fitness influencer has hundreds of thousands of followers, and he's doing this reel on the BS of the fitness industry. And he's going through all these products like this is garbage, this is garbage, this is garbage. And I simply commented on his comment. I said, yeah, but devil's advocate, why should everyone believe you? Because now I'm old enough to remember, like are you familiar with what the cold plunge therapy is?
Yeah, that's become very popular thanks to Wim Hof,
right?
And Joe Rogan.
Right.
Joe Rogan, who likes to push certain things. It's become very popular because of him.
I don't know if you have any opinion on it, but I'm old enough to remember, like, when I first heard about cold stuff was back in 96, we were told everything goes back and forth, right? So first it was you should drink ice cold water because what that does is it causes your body to burn more calories because it has to heat the water up to go in your system. Then many years later, it was don't drink ice cold water because it will put your organs into shock. My point being is everything is a theory.
Everything flip-flops. Everything flip-flops. Like I've seen newspaper clippings from the same newspaper where one year they say that eggs are really good for you and they can do this and do that, and then a year later they'll say eating eggs can raise your chance of heart disease and all this. Literally the same paper, and it's like, I think it's deliberately. I think all of this is deliberate. Again, my conspiracy mindset. It's deliberately there to confuse people so that people don't know what to do for the best.
Yeah. Yep. And
the science can't change that often. They can't be that confused. It must be pretty settled now whether eggs are good for you or bad for you or whatever it is. I think it's deliberately to confuse people.
Well, all these studies they have to be in a 100% controlled environment, right? Like you can't take, well, we did a study of 1,000 people who ate eggs and their cholesterol lowered or this and that. Well, yeah, but what are they drinking? You know, what's their environment like? Are they in sunlight? Are they in the Midwest where it's cold all year? And everything is what I believe, and I agree with you, is the nonstop information causes stress, and that's a stress overload and cortisol increase. Huge. You sent me, or you posted on your social media a video of a doctor talking about root canals, which was very weird because I had heard years ago root canals are bad, and I had learned, like the first time I had a cavity, I was 26, and find out that, you know, because I'm like, I don't eat sugar. What is this stuff? Well, turns out that the carbohydrate you put in your body turn into sugar, and then sugar rots you from the inside out, and that's where we get all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, what's the food pyramid we've been eating forever, right? How many servings of breads and carbs you need a day? And like you said, eggs.
Down. The food pyramid's upside down.
Right. Yeah, butter was really bad for you. Now everyone's saying butter's great for you. So you sent me this. I want to go over this today. I want to play a few minutes and have you and I talk about this. There's a root canal video you sent me. We're going to look at it together, kind of break it down a bit. If you're watching, you get to watch this. Yay. If you're listening, you get to listen to it. But this is a clip from Root Cause, the Health Effects of Root Canal Procedures, a documentary. For those who don't know, can you describe a root canal? Do you know what it is, or?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
What's a root canal?
So basically, your dentist will say that this tooth's infected, or it's dead, or it's, you know, you've got two choices. We can pull it out, or we can root canal it and we can save the tooth. So they drill the inside of it out. So they basically remove all of the nerves, all of the blood supply, the lymph supply. So it's basically like it's like a hollow tooth. It's a dead tooth. And then they fill it with whatever they put in it. They fill it with stuff, and then they leave it there basically. But it's a dead tooth from that point. So it's not getting any blood supply. And a tooth structure it's like honeycomb. So bacteria can go in there, and, you know, we've got bacteria all over us, all inside us. So bacteria goes in there, and then an infection can start because obviously the body wants to get rid of it. But we don't feel anything because the tooth's dead. So what you've basically got is an active, raging infection in your mouth, and your teeth are connected to all, like, parts of your body. Like there's a tooth that's connected to each organ. It's just not a good thing to have in your mouth.
Have you ever had a root canal done?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, I've had two, and one it was really weird. I had one at like 29, and then I had another one in my mid 30s, and I'll never forget it. Like the tooth pain was so bad that was really weird. The only thing that started bothering me at 10 o'clock at night, and I couldn't get into the dentist till the next morning. And of course, it's like back then didn't have insurance, so it's $1,000 out of my pocket. I remember the only thing that gave me any relief was cold. So I went through 2 pints of ice cream that night to just put that cold. And then I'm like, and I tried to explain to the dentist, I said, the only thing that gave me any pain relief at all was not heat, was cold. And she's like, that's odd. But it blew me away. It was like I still have my wisdom teeth. Everybody says you got to get your wisdom teeth removed, this, that. I still have mine. And I got mine, or still have mine, because I finally had that scheduled at 30 to have them removed. And I blew off the appointment because I was so paranoid. They said that there's a chance that there's a nerve that runs through your jaw that you could be paralyzed, like full body paralysis. And I'm like, I don't care if it's a 1 in 9 million chance. I'm not willing to risk it. I get no pain from my wisdom teeth. Nothing. So I'm going to leave them in there. But I want to play this on. We're going to play two parts. One is going to be a doctor describes one of his patients going through pain, and then the other is a doctor who's actually a dentist, because I thought this was going to be biased. A dentist talks about the what you had said, the passages of teeth connected organs. So let's listen and play. Check this out together.
What if I could tell you that 98% of women that have breast cancer have a root canal tooth on the same side as their offending breast cancer?
Now, I got to stop there for a second. That is either too ironic, or just like we talked about with the other things, like everything is the theory, cold plunges, this type of protein shake or whatever. How are we not listing other contributing factors? Like, well, those 98% of women, they also jogged every morning at 6 a.m. or something. You know what I mean? How are they limiting other contributing factors? Or when you
they're obviously not in that instance. She's just basically saying that most people that have breast cancer also have root canals. I think that's all she's saying. But dentists, they don't connect the two. They don't connect anything. Dentists are taught root canals are safe. Mercury fillings are safe. Fluoride is good for you. They're taught all this stuff and they don't question it. It's the same as doctors who don't question vaccines, and they don't ever connect vaccines to what happens to, autism and all the other autoimmune conditions. They don't connect the two because they're taught not to. So it's just the same, but root canals can cause all kinds of problems.
As we're about to find out, let's continue.
What if I told you that the biggest toxic influence in the body in a chronically ill person is a root canal tooth?
What if I could tell you that the leading authority in cardiovascular prevention, which is Balan-Donine, does not condone root canals in your mouth because of the bacteria?
Of the people that come to see me with chronic illness, the question is how many of them have a dental etiology to the cause of their illness? I would say almost all of them.
The vast majority of chronic degenerative diseases begin with problems in the mouth, infections and toxins, and it's only until those are addressed that you're going to get any clear positive response with your disease.
I had a gal come in here who was early 40s, very fit, very nutrition conscious, and she came in here because she had severe, horrible back pain. In fact, the first day that she walked in, she had a 4-pronged cane, bent over, and she was on full narcotics round the clock for her chronic pain. And she sat down and she wanted me to do some injections on her back to help her alleviate the pain. And I said, I'm happy to do that, but let me just dig a little bit about what could have happened to you. And she said, well, I got back pain. I went to an orthopedist. The orthopedist said did an MRI of my back, said I had a herniated disc, did surgery on me to remove the disc.
Yeah, we all know that too, right? The doctor's first impulse, surgeons are so eager to cut people open for crap instead of treating it externally.
It's all they know how to do. It's all they're trained in. That is allopathic medicine. They don't find the root cause, which is, funnily enough, the name of this documentary. They don't look for it. They just treat the symptom, which is why we live in such a chronically sick world now where everybody's poorly and nobody knows why. And nobody gets any help from the doctors. They just get cut open and patched up.
What is that? You said allopathic medicine? What is that?
The allopathy it's basically what all doctors are trained in now. They used to be like 100 years ago, before Rockefeller came in and fucked everything up. There used to be, if somebody got sick, they would go to a naturopath or a homeopath or a herbalist or a chiropractor or whatever. There was a range of different kinds of doctors that they could see to treat whatever was wrong with them. And, but now it's not like that. All doctors are trained in allopathy, which is basically treating the symptom and not the cause. You've got an infection, here's some antibiotics. Not why have you got an infection, not why does it keep coming back, here's some antibiotics, let's kill the bacteria, let's fucking gut microbiome up. Listen, they're great for if you break your arm or you're in an accident and your head's hanging off. That's where they come in useful. But most doctors now, all doctors, are trained in allopathic medicine, and people go to them with health concerns. They go to them when they're sick, and the root cause is never tracked. It just gets suppressed, and they keep going back throughout their life, suppressing these symptoms. Symptoms is the body's way of telling you something's wrong. Symptoms is the body trying to heal itself. So if you get a flu, for example, it's not some invisible bug that's invading you and attacking you like we are taught. That's not what it is. A flu is the body. It's got to a stage where it's got too many toxins, too much shit built up inside, and your body's trying to expel it. That's why you cough. That's why you get snot, because your body's trying to contain it and get it out of your body. That's why you get the shits. Your body's trying to remove something. It's not something attacking you. But as I said, doctors are taught very, very different. And over time, suppressing these symptoms is why people get chronically ill. They get cancer, they get all kinds of things later on in life, because they've never looked after the body properly. They've never treated the root cause. And yeah.
We know this is mostly a Western philosophy too. It's not. It's how the West is. We want everything just completely alleviated as soon as possible. Let's continue with this. This patient?
6 weeks later, I was worse. The orthopedic surgeon did another MRI on me. He said the disc had moved more, that I needed to have a laminectomy at 2 levels. And he took me in and he did a laminectomy at L4 and L5. Laminectomy means the back half of the bones on the spine are pulled off so that there's more room for the discs and more room for the nerves. At which point I saw her and she was worse. And what came up on the examination that I did, that she had some inflammation in her jawbone. I said, did you have any dental work done prior to this back pain? And she said, well, come to think of it, I did. I had an infected tooth. I had a root canal done. The root canal failed. I had another redo of the root canal. It also failed. I had the root canal tooth pulled, and I had a graft put in there, and I had an implant put in there. So I said, let's do an experiment in the office. I can inject a local anesthetic on that tooth. If your back pain is related to that tooth, and I block the nerve coming from that tooth, it may make your back pain feel better. And that may be the reason for your pain, because after 2 failed surgeries, another one, the chances of it working aren't very good. So she said, I'm in. So I took some local anesthetic and I injected her tooth, and I waited about 15 minutes. And when I came back into the room, she was standing up going like this. I said, how does it feel? She says, it feels 90% gone. I said, then probably this is linked to that tooth. I just want to make sure. You come back in 3 days, we're going to do this again. I want to make sure that just there's a relief reaction, sort of a mental, this is all psychosomatic and it's gone. We did it again, and she said, it's gone. I'm going back to the oral surgeon, and I'm going to have him take the darn implant out. Within a couple of weeks, her back pain, except for what was leftover surgical trauma, was gone.
It kind of reminds me of my dad 30 years ago. He said, he went to the dentist, and they had to do some kind of work, and the dentist before, 15 years prior to that, had a piece of a drill bit or something lodge, and he didn't know this, in his jaw. And he goes, it was insane. The dentist sat there and said, man, you've got like a piece of dental equipment embedded in your jaw, pulled it out. And he goes, my hearing immediately improved. He goes, it was like I've been sitting in cotton for 20 years. And then all of a sudden everything opened up massively. So, I mean, that's one part talking about I don't think it's a possibility. I think it's 100% accurate, because you talk about pressure. People, why do people, they go to pressure points, acupuncture, martial arts, all this, and we know that you could push a trigger on somebody's wrist and it's going to cause pain and paralysis going from their head to their ass, all this, but we don't want to believe or acknowledge that your teeth could be the foundation of your health or pain or pleasure.
Yep. Everything's connected in the human body. It's all connected. I think it's the same in your feet as well. It's like meridian points all over the soles of your feet, which connect to every single organ. Everything's connected, but dentistry in particular it's as bad as like the rest of medicine. It's just another branch of it. There's so many backward things that dentists do just because they're taught it's okay, it's fine. Put mercury in your mouth. Leave a dead tooth in your mouth, and they don't question it. I was with somebody last year at the dentist, getting the teeth done, and they had a root canal. And I was saying to them before we got there, like, make sure they take that out, because they'll say that there's nothing wrong with it and they don't need to. I said, make sure you insist that they pull it out. And lo and behold, it had an x-ray, had it all looked at, they examined it, and they said, we don't need to remove that, it's fine. And I insisted, I was being a bit bossy, I insisted that they took it out for him. And he was kind of just like, nah, because he wasn't really sure. But in the end, he did end up taking it out. When you could see the tooth, like when it was out of his mouth, it was black. It didn't look like that from the front, but the back of it was black. It was disgusting. It looked like a little turd. It was horrible. And that was in his mouth. And they were going to leave it in there and say that it's fine. Because... why? I don't know why. That's just how they talk.
I think it has to do with it's not endocrinologist, it's something else. The endodontist, I think, is there's dentist, right?
Endocrinologist, the hormone doctor.
Okay, so it's endo something, so there's a different. What is it?
Endodontist is a root canal specialist.
Right. So you've got them, and you've got oral surgeons, and then you've got the insurance system. So I had a dentist who couldn't, like, my uncle used to be my dentist. He did a root canal. Another one didn't want to do it, so they sent me to that root canal specialist. And then I did have to have a tooth pulled many, many years ago. They did it right in the office. So I think it's a matter of who's lazy and who their billable insurance shit issue is. So I think that's why they're going to come up and say, hey, yeah, or maybe they get paid more money by doing a root canal than they do for an extraction. I don't know if we ever looked at that, but that's going to be the case.
I'm comparing this to like how doctors behave with vaccines. We know that they get some sort of subsidies for doing vaccines. They certainly don't want to acknowledge the harm that they cause. And if doctors start speaking up and saying, oh no, I'm not doing vaccines, or oh no, I'm against them, they get the license taken off them. They get struck off and told they're a quack. They lose the whole livelihood. So they have to sort of protect the industry somewhat. And I have a feeling that things like root canals and fluoride and amalgam fillings, I feel strongly that it's a similar game that's played.
It's weird. We had there's a water filtration system that my old partner Ashley on the show and I had. We were gifted from a gentleman we had brought on the show, and I think we're still associated in some degree. And it is supposed to be this insanely purified water system, everything out. And you could measure your water. What's that?
Which one is it?
Sentry, Sentry with an S, Sentry water system. And It took 15 minutes to install it. I've got underneath my sink, I've got these two giant, one seems to be this carbon filter and another one's another filter. And I'm not going to lie, within the first 2 weeks of drinking this purified water, everything on my body hurt. my elbows hurt, I was getting headaches, this and that, and I have to wonder if that's because my body was so used to drinking shit water.
Your body was detoxing. That's what it was. All the shit that's in tap water, the body's not stupid. It's not going to let it. It's going to try to not let it damage you. So it stores it. It puts it into the joints. It puts it into your hair. It puts it into fat cells. It puts it in places where it's not going to do you as much harm. But when you started drinking clean water, your body was getting a chance to detox that. And that's exactly what you got. You got a symptom of detox. Your body was getting rid of it. So it's a good thing. I hope you carried on drinking it.
No, I actually took a break because the pain was like I could not. I felt like I had arthritis of a 90-year-old man. So I stopped. I started again. I still use it for like my coffee and everything, but I'm thinking about, no, maybe I need to go back to it and bear through it and just push through that. Then I'm going to see what happens with that. I want to continue with this because
it's called a Herxheimer reaction. When your body's reacting to detox, it's removing the shit that's inside you, and it's not pleasant. Like people will go on fasts and things. I've done plenty of fasts, and you go through a stage where you feel really poorly, like kind of how you were just describing. You might feel achy, you'll feel sick, you don't feel nice. But if you stick through it and you get past it, it's just detox symptoms.
One of the things that they like to say is, like, the medical field says, well, the fluoride in the water helps your teeth, all this shit. So what are we supposed to do for the minerals, right? Because apparently aren't these water filtration systems getting rid of the minerals that we need? It's like, I know our bodies, we cannot drink distilled water. Is that correct? You ever heard anything about that?
No. That's another myth as well.
Really?
Yeah, we don't actually need minerals in water. There's a big debate about this, and I've had it with plenty of people that think we need mineral water and salt. We don't need it. The minerals in water are inorganic, so they're useless to the human body. We can't do anything with them. All the body does is exactly what I just told you, is where it stores it in the joints. We can't make any use of it. We get our minerals from our diet if we're eating correctly. There's minerals, in fruits and vegetables, in meats. The minerals are in the soil, and it's converted into bioavailable organic minerals in the form of plants. If you eat enough, plant food. I know there's a big carnivore vegan debate, which we won't get into, but those are the kind of bioavailable minerals that we need. And we don't need the minerals in water. And distilled water is actually the best water to drink. It's what I drink. Like he said, you got detox symptoms from drinking that filtered water. If you drank distilled water, you'd really feel the symptoms because it strips everything out that shouldn't be there. The myth is that it strips all the good minerals as well, but it doesn't. It doesn't work like that.
You just said something
it's to do with the electrical charge. Distilled water has a really strong negative charge, so it pulls on anything that has a positive charge, and all the things that have a positive charge are the bad things, stuff that doesn't belong there. Anything with a negative charge, it belongs there, and it doesn't affect those, so it physically cannot affect those.
You talked about
minerals that we need.
I think you sent me an article last year about salt. Remember, we were talking about salt, and you said pink, because one of the biggest craze is pink Himalayan sea salt. You sent me something about that as well too, not being beneficial.
Yeah, but it's not bad. Like it's not like table salt. Like table salt's just pure poison. If you're going to have salt, at least have a quality one that's not just bleached and stripped of all of its minerals. But I have salt for the taste. I don't necessarily believe in salt for the mineral content. I do believe the best one is Celtic grey salt.
Yeah, that's what you sent. Yeah,
that's got the highest mineral content. And there's a lot of fake pink salt now as well. There's a lot of fake. They're literally just dyed pink. It's just regular salt that they dye pink.
Fucking blows me away. We have no idea, and everything is regulated. And as long as you have if the government says, well, it's got 0.0001% pink salt, so we can say it's pink salt, it's like, fuck them. I want to go ahead.
That's how the FDA and all those regulatory bodies work. They're not regulating anything at all. The food industry is just as corrupt as the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, they go hand in hand.
They're pretty much the same people. They're owned by the same people. So
they go hand in hand.
They're all in cahoots.
Yep, keep us sick so they can medicate us.
And then you go to the doctor and get more sick from their poison.
100%. I want to continue this because this was the part about the connectivity. This is, what are we watching? We are watching Root Cause, the health effects of the root canal procedure. It's a documentary that Lola sent to me. So let's check this out. This part was fascinating.
Well, root canal procedure is still a very, very popular thing in dentistry because no one wants to lose a tooth. But more and more people are beginning to realize, even from the current day, modern and very...
and I'll respect these people. This is a dentist saying this. So this and the next doctor are both dentists. So I respect
tell you about a book that I've got after you played this.
Traditional literature that it's impossible to sterilize a root canal system.
Most conventional dentists believe there's no problem with them, but
Dr. Mercola. He have you ever heard of him before?
I don't like him.
Oh, you don't like him? Okay, so his office used to be less than 2 miles from my house in Illinois, but I guess he moved that state. Yeah, so Dr. Mercola, he's huge. He was huge out here. Why don't you like Dr. Mercola? I'm just very curious.
There's just a few things that he says that don't quite add up. He's definitely controlled. He's the classic bait and switch I've spoken about before. He'll tell 80% truth, 20% lies, and those lies are what are important. And as long as his following believe them and stay, like he's somebody that doesn't advocate distilled water. He says distilled water is really bad for you and it strips your minerals. Well, he's wrong. There's only one article that's ever claimed that. There's no studies that back it up. There's no actual science. It's one article that's sort of been copied and pasted and rehashed. And if you Google it, it's all you'll find. But
he's the one that I got that information from that I said.
There's a few things that he says like that just make me question him.
Let's keep going.
But
That's
anyway,
good to know.
He's on this. This doc, at least about root canals, is telling the truth. He's allowed to talk about that.
Let's keep going.
I personally couldn't disagree more. I think that they are a hidden source of toxicity for almost anyone.
The reason that root canals have an inherent problem is that because we know that nowhere else in the body can we leave dead tissue. Anywhere else in the body, your appendix dies, you have dead tissue that doesn't heal in any other area of the body. We know we have to remove that because it's a haven for bacteria and it's not compatible with health. And the same is true in a tooth. A tooth is a living structure, has a blood supply, has a nerve supply. And so when a tooth dies or becomes infected and we decide to go in and do a root canal, even the best endodontist or root canal specialist can do a great job at cleaning out the main canal of any of the teeth. But what they can't get to are all of these thousands of tubules. You can see if you cut a tooth in half or under a microscope, you can see these thousands of tubules that run out in every different direction, all sorts of angles off from the main canal.
Those microtubules are big enough for a bacteria to fit in, but not much else. And the problem is if you've got 6 to 8 miles of microtubules in a single tooth, it's impossible. You can see why it's impossible to sterilize that tooth.
So after the root canal has been performed, unfortunately, bacteria still reside within the tooth. And now you have this nice, warm, incubated tooth where the bacteria are able to flourish. And now there is no access from the patient's own immune system to the tooth.
So that means that I never thought about this, right? Because if you got, I don't know, I don't think bones die. I don't know if bones die or not. I'm sure there's an osteoporosis thing, but you don't leave anything. I had an appendectomy when I was 14. They took the appendix out. They didn't leave it in there, and I never thought about that. Just because the tooth
Think about necrosis. Say you get necrosis on your hand and one of your fingers has turned black. They're not gonna, unless they can save it. It's dead. They'll have to amputate it, otherwise it'll spread up your arm. It's because bacteria started to eat it because it's dead and it shouldn't be there anymore. It's the same thing with your teeth. they'll kill the tooth, they'll cut off the blood supply and make it dead, but then they'll leave it in the mouth for the bacteria to thrive. And then there's an active infection, and then it drains through your lymph system, and you've got a constant bacterial infection in your lymph system, which is your sewage system, your drainage system. It's just poisoning you constantly.
I'm starting to wonder, like I said, I've had 2 root canals. I have to wonder if, like, weight gain.
Get rid of them as soon as you can. Go to a biological dentist and get them out.
I have to wonder how much damage that could be. Could that be causing weight gain, stress? I mean, anything at all, like what we call aging. Could that be contributing to it? I have to wonder. All right, he was saying that. When you think about it, yeah, so the tooth dies, it's in there, and then it's an infestate. It's a petri dish for bacteria to distribute along the body, and then because it has no access, the body can't fight it off. That's like, holy shit, I never thought about that.
If the root canal wasn't done, you'd be in a lot of pain, you'd be in agony. Your body would be telling you there's something wrong, get rid of this. But the nerve supply's been cut off. So
okay, so let's talk about...
You've cut off the symptom.
So let's talk about.
Just leave it there.
So I want to talk about that for a second.
If it wasn't done, you wouldn't be able to live with it. It'd be too painful.
So
your body would make sure that you knew that it was wrong.
Okay, so there's my question is, right, when you have tooth pain, if for those who've seen Castaway with Tom Hanks, he couldn't bear the tooth pain. He had an abscess, so he does self-surgery with a fucking an ice skating skate and whatever. So theoretically, what are we supposed to do if we have that tooth pain? Because tooth pain is some of the most excruciating on the planet. Are we just supposed to leave it be and let the body fight that off? Because like with a flu or anything else, I know that you go from, like, one of the indicators when I'm no longer sick, if I'm ever sick, is if I'm blowing green snot out of my nose. Once it gets to clear, I'm like, oh, then I'm getting back to healthy, because that green is all that shit. So how do you know when your body's going to get healthy from a tooth pain that's you can't handle?
Everybody's probably different. Like, what's causing the issue? Is it your poor diet? Is it your poor dental hygiene? You know, there's several things that people can do to try and heal it on their own, or, you know, at least improve it. But ultimately, like, I think it's a case of pulling out if you can't do that. I'm a big advocate for coconut oil pulling. That's really good.
Oh, so you think that works? I've heard so many mixed things on that. I did that for a couple weeks, and then everyone's like, oh no, it doesn't work. So of course you have dentists on YouTube that the one video I pulled up, he had a dentist that had a patient. He x-rayed him, or not x-rayed, did a microscopic scan of the gums, teeth, all that. They had them oil pull. For those who don't know, when you put the oil in your mouth for like a teaspoon, tablespoon, you just swish it around for 5 minutes and spit it out. He had said that there was absolutely zero difference in the bacteria level before or after. But that's a YouTube dentist showing that.
Was it a YouTube dentist?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well, that's his findings. There's a lot of like YouTube doctors and like Dr. McCullough, who are there to deliberately deceive people or mislead people. I've got friends who don't use toothpaste anymore and haven't for years. They've switched to coconut oil. They don't use toothpaste at all anymore. I won't do that, because I like toothpaste. I like the really clean feeling in my mouth.
Right.
And I vape. So I'm here fucking preaching about health, and I'm a vapor and I'm drinking, but whatever.
You're Lola. You do what you want.
I just like my mouth to feel really fresh. So as long as I'm not putting fluoride in my mouth and I'm using a really natural toothpaste.
Yeah, I use that Tom's. I use that Tom's toothpaste and Tom's deodorant, because I guess you got the whole aluminum in the deodorant shit I've heard about too.
That's the one yet. Another thing again that's blocking an important detox pathway. We've got the biggest sweat glands in the armpits, because there's a specific gland there which is for detox. And that's why we sweat more on his armpits, because we're detoxing the most out there. We put aluminum in it and it blocks it and it absorbs it in, you know. What's that going to do?
Well, yeah, it blows me away.
We're not supposed to block it, really. We're supposed to detox out of his armpits.
I have to wonder how much damage we're doing for natural everything, right? Like even attraction. Like one of the guests who will be on again tomorrow, Kayla, talks about how women who take birth control and that screws up their hormones, that can potentially lead all the way up to their decision making on choosing mates that are not proper for them. So I have to wonder if pheromones are what attracts us to our like biological mate to reproduce. What are you doing when you're blocking the scent, literally that pheromone scent that comes from like your fucking armpits and everywhere else? And it's like, how are we limiting our progression as a species with that shit?
Well, this is it. This is why most marriages end in divorce now. This is just why we live in a fucked up world. Because everything is targeted one way or another. This is what I said in the beginning. Everything's a conspiracy. When you think about it logically, it is, and it's uncomfortable to admit. But yeah,
I want to play. You want to watch some more of this documentary?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little bit more of this.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, to be honest.
Fucking fascinating.
Because in the process of doing the root canal treatment, the blood supply and the nerve have been severed from that tooth, so now the body can't deliver its own immune defenses to help keep the infection in check.
70 to 90% of all medical problems actually originate in the mouth. Conventional dentistry still has a focus on the mechanistic Newtonian mentality, that the teeth are not connected to the rest of the body. I mean, embryologically, the teeth develop from the same tissues that gives rise to your sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The blood supply and the mouth literally will take any toxins via the lymphatic system and take it down to the thyroid, the thymus, the heart, and the rest of the body. So there is a direct connection.
The teeth is not just like a stone in the mouth. It is extremely densely connected. The pulp is extremely densely connected to the lymph system, to the autonomic nerve system. More than any other organs, it's connected to the afferences, the sensitive nerves to the brain directly, and to all meridian systems.
Meridian systems. Do you ever pay attention to that? Because we were talking about that before. When it comes down to like that, so they're showing right there as well too that you wind up dealing with this, but you could have lower back pain from having screwed up teeth and whatnot. It's unbelievably fascinating.
Yeah, and another thing as well, what a lot of people don't realize is fluoride is one of the main contributing factors to arthritis and bone issues, because again, your body's trying to get rid of it, so it stores it in the bones. And as soon as people start to detox fluoride from the body, their arthritis goes away. It's amazing.
I'm wondering.
There was a big cover up actually of the cure for arthritis. In the 80s, I think.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm wondering. When drinking that purely filtered water, and it was from Century water filtration systems. This is how I know, good, bad, or indifferent, the system worked is within 2 weeks, I'm like, holy shit, what? My elbows were killing me. And like my body was aching. And I'm like, I feel like I have arthritis. So I know it's not adding anything in. It's taking shit out. So, now I'm going to go purely back on that. I really want to see what happens to it. But this part's fascinating me.
Stay at it, stick it out, and make sure you're drinking enough as well. Because most people are chronically dehydrated as well, and they don't drink enough water. Never mind the right kind of water. Make sure you're drinking enough, at least a gallon a day. Which sounds like a lot.
Peeing all the
time. That's what we should be having.
All right, let's continue this. Let's play a few more minutes of this.
Connects up energetically through the meridian system to certain organs and glands. So, for example, on the upper side of the jaw, the last two molars and this bicuspid actually connect up energetically to the left breast, and on this side it's to the right breast. And 95% of the time, women who have breast cancer who undergo a thermographic study will be found to have hot spots in the jaw on the same side as that malignant breast.
97% of our breast cancer patients in an age between 30 and 70. We tested all these patients. They had a root canal or a toxic situation in the teeth.
The discussion of the energetic relationship of the teeth to the rest of the body is very interesting. Every tooth lies on a specific acupuncture meridian, relates to certain organs and tissues and vertebrae and muscle groups. And so very often you can see a direct relationship. For instance, there was a 19-year-old girl, her first year in college. She had a root canal on a front tooth. That front tooth relates to the kidney and the bladder. She started to have bladder infections and kidney infections. She tried every treatment known, and she was constantly going on antibiotics, and nothing helped. When she came to me, when I tested that root canal, I saw the direct relationship and told the mother, and it was very hard because here you had a 19-year-old girl and it was a front tooth. But I said, I think in this case, the thing that needs to be done is to remove that tooth. Well, they didn't want to hear that, so they went and tried other treatments. And then about 3 months later, still suffering from chronic kidney problems and urinary bladder problems, she took the tooth out. And that was the end of the problem.
I remember years ago having a physician say, I can't buy into this concept of this electricity going through these meridians. I've never seen a meridian in all the cadaver labs I've ever been in. And I said, okay, when you can do an EKG on your cadaver, I'll be able to show you a meridian, because you can't find it when the person's dead. When you're looking at doing an EEG or an EMG or an EKG, we're looking at the electricity going through the body, and that is completely mainstream. Each tooth actually lies on a different meridian. So those energy pathways that we discussed, they go through particular areas. So if we're looking at the wisdom teeth, we're talking about a small intestine and a heart. As we move forward on the top and we have these molars, then we're looking at breast, we're looking at thyroid. On this side, we're looking at pancreas. On this side, we're looking at spleen. Then we move forward to the bicuspids and their lung and large intestine. We go to the eye teeth, and it's called an eye tooth for a reason, because it's connected to your eye. It's also connected to the liver and to the gallbladder. And then these four front teeth, top and bottom, are connected to the urinary tract, to the anal canal, to the adrenals, to the pituitary, to your kidney, everything that's related to that urinary tract. I use a piece of equipment that was originally called EAV, electroacupuncture according to Vol. I put electricity into the body, and then you gather data from that. So when I'm testing teeth, I actually have the person holding a bar in their hand, and that bar is the collection point, and they touch a tooth and put it in the circuitry, and then I introduce, by touching on a particular acupuncture point, I introduce the electricity into the body to see if it can go all the way through that meridian. And you start seeing where electricity is being blocked, and now you start asking questions about the person's health, and they go, wow, how did you know that? I didn't even tell you that I was having problems there. Because when the electricity can't get through, it compromises that meridian.
Many people have trouble getting their mind around the fact that their teeth are making them sick. But let me just tell you that a year or so ago, we looked at the last 60 cancer patients that we had seen.
Oh, get out of there. They're going to talk about cancer now with this? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll play this last part here.
And 96% of them had an infected tooth in the same power supply circuit as their primary cancer. 96%.
Holy shit, 96% of people who had cancer had that power supply blockage. Holy shit, dude. The documentary is Root Cause, the health effects of root canal, and there's an hour more of this on here, and I'm going to watch this after we get done, but this is unbelievable. I have to wonder how much shit clearly everything's connected. And if you look at it, I mean, it kind of makes sense, because it's where you're putting in your fuel system. And that's why I said I didn't have my damn wisdom teeth taken out, because they said there's a chance, there's a very, 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 very small chance that you could be paralyzed. Or look at why when people who get in fights, if you hit somebody in that area, that's a knockout point. It's like everything's connected from there. It blows me away.
Yeah, I think there's something deeper to the wisdom tooth thing.
Such as?
I read something ages ago. I can't remember what it is. It's something to do with like finding your spiritual cognition, I suppose. And if you think about it, why is it called a wisdom tooth?
Yeah.
You know, and there's a reason why they tell everyone to just pull them out. I think there's it's something to do with going through the pain of it as it's coming through, and then coming out the other side. I don't want to say a better person, but there's a spiritual reason for your wisdom teeth, and there's a reason why dentists are told to just pull them out and that they're meaningless. I've had problems with one at this side for a while. It's like been coming and going for the last 2 years, but I refuse to have it pulled out.
No, I don't. Mine are impacted. Yeah, mine are impacted. They've never bothered me. I mean, I could feel them poking out somewhere and all the way back on my jaw, but it's like I went, why am I doing this? What's the point? You know, because it's like it's almost like when they say like the appendix is a useless organ. Well, if it's useless, then how come I almost died? Right?
Why is it there if it's useless? There's nothing useless in the body.
Right. And why can you almost die of it? Why can you die if it erupts and explodes? Right? So it's like I've always wondered this. I don't think there's anything useless in the body, and I think they're just downplaying us on there. This is I never really thought about this stuff where your teeth and like I never pictured it as being dead tissue left in the body after they hollow it out. They fill, and then what do they fill it in? And then then they got to cap it up so that it doesn't keep go. It blows me away. Probably this bullshit they're feeding us.
Yep, dentistry is just as evil as regular allopathic medicine. I don't want to say allopathic medicine's evil, but there's a lot of backwards protocols that they do, and it has nefarious purposes.
Yeah, my only concern would be like the whole pain thing, like because I'm when it comes down to that, it's a big baby shit, and I'm like, man, I get so it's been 10 plus years since I've had a toothache, and I'm like, whenever I stuff myself full of carbs, I'm always like, motherfucker, don't be stupid, because you keep doing this, just like you that diabetes threshold, right? Your blood sugar keep fucking up, you're gonna get type 2 diabetes. I'm like, I don't care about the type 2 diabetes, I care about the tooth pain. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night again going, holy shit. And I've got like clove oil on standby just in case and all that. For those who don't know, you put clove oil in it, that like immediately numbs it up. But I'm just not, I have to wonder how much of this crap, and I really want to switch back to that filtered water from Century with an S and go from there. And then Lola just disappeared. Lola does this?
I'm sorry.
No, you're Lola.
I'm not at home tonight, as you can probably tell.
You're Lola. You could do what. It's okay. You could do whatever you want. You're Lola. It's it's
got in my pants.
There you go. All right. So, dude, here Bev in the chat, and so this is something says it also calcifies your pineal gland. Is that
fluoride?
Oh, does it really?
Fluoride, yeah, literally.
So
it's almost like that's specifically why they use it. And
to make men
that brushing your teeth with it's fine as long as you're not swallowing it in the water. But if you think about it, your mouth is full of like blood vessels. Well, you can take medication just by letting it absorb under your tongue. That's how absorbent the mouth is.
Subdural, right? Like I started taking a SARM. And you take it under your tongue, and you let it absorb under your tongue. So bullshit, you can't absorb
it goes straight to your bloodstream. But fluoride, it's almost like it specifically targets that one gland in your brain. It goes straight to it.
Oh,
and I'm pretty sure 99.9% of people in the world will have a calcified pineal gland. It literally turns into like a rock.
Oh, it's
in
pineal.
Your brain.
Yeah, I thought it was penile, and I'm like, oh, is that the cause for erectile dysfunction? And why? Okay.
Yeah, your pineal gland. What did I say? What did you say?
No, that I said penile.
Yeah, your pineal gland.
Okay, yeah, I mispronounced it, and I'm thinking that maybe your teeth has, and I'm sure it does. Your teeth has connective benefits and adverse effects to sexual health?
I'm pretty sure it goes all throughout the body.
We're so
but I'm sure it does. But yeah, fluoride and the pineal gland are a definite connection. 100%.
This was an educational show. This is why we have you on, because not only do you look stunning for the camera and everyone's like, oh my God.
Pointless information.
Well, no, so you literally, I'm going to go back to drinking that water. So let's see where I'm at in 2 weeks. And 100%, I'm going to power through that.
Distilled water. Get a distiller. Try that.
I did.
You'll be even more surprised.
Oh, well, I did. So I did. Well, one day I bought a gallon of distilled water, and within a day I had a massive headache. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drink. Really?
Detox. There's something in your brain, in your head that was being detoxed out of you.
Good to know. All right, kids, that's your Thursday show. Lola's joining us on Thursdays. God only knows what she's got in store for us next week, so we'll find that out. Tomorrow from Flex Your Feminine, Kayla's joining us. Got it. Fucking that name. It's ridiculous. I get confused. And I have no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Other than that, make sure you go to Spreely.com. It is the full free speech, uncensored social media platform there. Podcasts, other shows, our show, all this stuff, all Spreely.com. Check them out. Other than that, you guys have a great damn day. Go do something for somebody. Go help them. And if you can't help them, do not help them. Lola, tell everybody bye.
Bye-bye.